Welcome you in, everyone. 6 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. Jason and Alicia here with you. A lot of people have been waiting for this snow, and we're finally getting it.
We are finally getting not a ton today, but the timing of it, again, not great, John, as we saw earlier this week.
Right.
Any little dusting can really impact the commute.
You never really know. I mean, it does look like, it shifted north, but we can see 0.2 inches of snow now in the metro during the evening commute. And who knows, 0.2 inches at the wrong timing can always cause slick spots. So that would be the evening commute. Just check the roads before you head out there tonight. But I will tell you, snow lovers, this was not the push you wanted. It moved a little to the north, and a little movement to the south would have given us a lot more snow. But we were on the edge, and when you're on the edge, any shift is huge. It just depends on which way it goes. Now, Saturday, I still have hope for a snowstorm. 8 degrees out there right now. It feels pretty good. -4 for the wind chill. 2 degrees in St. Cloud. Look at Brainerd, 8. Feels pretty good. Winds are pretty light, but they're out of the east. What does an east wind mean? Well, it means there's a low to your west. Remember, the low is a magnet, so the wind follows that magnet, and you know it's out west. Wind chills are better. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't feel nearly as bad. The winds are calm. This is the story. We got missed with the advisory. That's obviously never a good sign if you want snow, but you can see it's now shifting north, still expecting 3 to 6 inches in here. We'll talk about the impacts, and we'll take a look at Saturday now, what that looks like in your forecast coming up.
Good morning. So for the most part, this morning has been pretty quiet on the roads, but a couple of minutes ago, I did get an alert about a possible crash on Highway 36 at Lexington Ave. So I'll take a look at that on some live cams and bring it back to you if it's a big deal and it'll impact your commute. Otherwise, when I see you next, just after 6:15, I'll be talking about a construction project on 35W northbound that could also impact your commute later this morning. So stick around for that. Alicia.
Cece, thank you. Well, in the coming hours, we're expecting thousands of Americans to protest the new Trump administration.
The movement is called 50 States, 50 Protests, One Day. And there's one scheduled here at the Minnesota State Capitol at noon. Already, there have been massive protests over President Trump's immigration crackdown. Today, demonstrations come in response to several of Trump's actions during his first 2 weeks back in the White House. And one of those controversial moves, starting a trade war with China to curb drugs coming into the U.S. Michelle Beck is in the newsroom covering the latest fallout. Michelle.
Well, guys, we're already seeing the widespread fallout. Take the USPS. For now, it says it will not be taking packages from China and Hong Kong. So if you shop at Chinese retailers like Shein or Temu, expect shipments to go through private carriers and to cost more. The USPS didn't give a reason for the move that kicked in the last 24 hours. But note, it's the same day a 10% tariff on Chinese goods went into effect. It's also just hours after President Trump ended with limited customs inspections and complex taxes on certain packages. Now remember, China is waiting till Monday to start collecting its counter tariffs on imports from the U.S., but unlike a past statement, Trump gave no timeline as to when he will speak with the president of China.
We'll speak to him at the appropriate time. I'm in no rush. It's fine. We're going to do very well against China and against everybody else.
Meanwhile, the European Union has been holding off on the sidelines, but leaders there are on alert as Trump has threatened tariffs on them too. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you. The president is also making headlines this morning after he said he wants to take over the Gaza Strip. His comments came during a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump said he wants the U.S. to take control long-term of the Palestinian territory and resettle people already living there.
We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
Now, Trump says he would send U.S. troops to the region if necessary. Netanyahu has not wanted to give up control of Gaza, but said Trump's idea is worth talking about. According to NBC, the plan would displace more than 2 million Palestinians living in Gaza.
By the end of the day tomorrow, millions of federal employees will have to decide whether to take President Trump's buyout offer, but there's still some confusion this morning over what happens next.
I'm Jennifer Hoff. There's one day left for federal government workers to decide whether to take the Trump administration's buyout. The deal meant to cut that workforce of about 2 million people and reportedly will pay those workers through September. But critics argue the deal is still confusing, it may not be legal, and something only Congress can authorize. Also keep in mind the current funding bill expires on March 14th. There are about 4,000 members of the American Federation of Government Employees Union here in Minnesota, and it's unclear yet how many of them may have taken the deal.
In just over 9 hours, Minnesota Republicans will be back on the House floor for the fourth week of the legislative session. But so far, no work has been done due to a boycott from House DFL members. And in the last 24 hours, Republicans launched an effort to recall all 66 Democrats. It's a move that could take weeks or months as they gather signatures before it potentially makes its way to the state Supreme Court. Since the beginning of the session, Democrats have refused to work from the Capitol. They want Republicans to commit to a power sharing agreement if the House returns to a tie after a special election in March. They're also demanding the GOP commit to seating Brad Tabke, who won a re-election in a contested race. But there is hope a resolution could be on the horizon. In the last 24 hours, House Republicans met privately twice with DFL members.
This afternoon, the suspect charged in a Benton County shooting that injured 5 police officers will appear in court for a settlement conference. Back in October of 2023, Sherburne County Drug Task Force officers were outside of Carl Holmberg's home on a search warrant. Prosecutors say that's when Holmberg allegedly started shooting, telling his wife it was, quote, or shouting rather, telling his wife it was, quote, his day to die. Today's meeting will be an attempt to reach a settlement to avoid going to trial.
Now to a developing story we're tracking right now. Just before lunch, the Minnesota DNR will share details about their first request proposals as part of the $850 million settlement with 3M over Forever Chemicals. Money from the settlement is available for natural resources projects in the East Twin Cities Metro. They must adhere, though, to one of 3 goals: restoring natural resources, wildlife and habitats, understanding PFAS contamination in fish, or improving outdoor recreation. The other $720 million will go towards drinking water projects in the East Metro. Well, time now 6:07, and this morning there's another shakeup for the Robbinsdale School Board.
And the board is now searching for a new director after a sudden resignation by Sharon Brooks earlier this week. Our Audrey Russo is live at the district office with some new details this morning. Audrey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jason, Alicia, I just looked and Sharon Brooks's profile is still up on the Robbinsdale School website. It lists her term on the board ending in December of 2026, but Brooks walked away from that 4-year term when she submitted her letter of resignation to the board 4 minutes before their meeting started on Monday. Now, Brooks's tenure on that board was somewhat tenuous and a bit troubled. Last year, an investigation revealed she was one of 6 board directors found not to be fulfilling their duties. The level of dysfunction rose to Brooks getting censured twice last year, most recently in December for violating harassment policies, something that Brooks at the time vehemently denied.
I have a history of kindness and respect throughout this community and around the country. I did not start this fight, and I'm simply in this fight.
Now, Brooks's resignation means there's now a vacancy on the 7-seat board, one that the remaining members have to fill in light of the fact that they also have to square a multi-million-dollar budget shortfall. I've got more details coming up in about 30 minutes about how they discussed ways to fill that vacancy. But for now, Jason, Alicia, I'll send things back to you.
Audrey, thank you. Well, mark your calendars. In just under 2 weeks, the state will begin accepting applications for cannabis business licenses. A judge put the process on hold last year, but now the state says it's opening up a short window from Tuesday, February 18th through March 14th. Then, depending on the number of applicants, lotteries are expected to start either in May or in June.